Totally.
So now I'm obsessed with time. Come on, tell me about the time. Had it all in my head tonight. Had the time of my life when the words all come down.
Welcome to another episode of American
Timelines.
I'm Amy.
I'm Joe.
Wow, it's Joe.
I am not Burt Baccarat's personal assistant, Waylon.
Oh, okay.
I'm not.
You're
I'm
not
Joe.
him. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Well,
You like that?
this is
Like the little new twist?
I do. That was great.
The last episode of our season?
So this is the podcast that brings you nostalgic, interesting, and crazy events in American pop culture history,
Yeah.
year by year.
Yeah.
That's right.
And some jokes.
And some
I'll say some silly things once in a while.
ridiculousness. So, what we are in is the second half of 1989.
Yes, and
Totally.
this is the last episode of season 2.
Oh my God.
This is our
The 80s have been a wild ride.
this is our 27th episode.
Mm-hmm.
We started somewhere in the beginning of the season. We started doing 2 episodes per year. That's why it's kind of an odd
Yep.
number to end on, and we don't really care.
Yep.
But it's so this is the end of the 80s. And
Yes.
so just for you listeners note, don't think we're going away.
Nope, because guess what's coming?
But we've already done the 90s. We stumbled through the 90s. If you go back, if those of you who've been with us from the beginning, you've clearly seen an improvement. The 90s, we weren't very good.
No.
But we're not going, now that we're finishing the 80s, it doesn't mean we're going back into the 90s and doing that again. Next season is
Waka chicka, waka chicka, waka chicka,
the
waka chicka, waka chicka,
70s.
Pow,
You may have
pow,
just heard the
pow.
intro to next season. It might be just
No, it won't be that. Yeah.
Reading, judge your mind.
I'm excited. I can't wait. I love the 70s.
Yeah, you love the 70s. There's probably tons of crazy murderers. I think it'll be
Oh,
cooler.
it was the decade of the serial killer, for one thing.
Well, and there'll be so many things we probably never heard about. Again,
Right.
the farther we go back, the more things didn't go viral because not everybody had the internet.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
we weren't alive really. I mean,
Yeah.
we were alive a little bit. We were
I
tiny.
was, 72 I was born. So.
Yeah, I wasn't even born until the second half of next season.
That's
so.
right. Next season.
But I mean, people read newspapers. Nobody even read. People read newspapers, but everybody. It should be exciting. There should be a
Yep.
lot of stuff, but there's a
It
lot
will
more
be.
research we got to do too. So,
So
we'll see.
tonight we're going to talk about 1989 starting in June. If you haven't listened to the first half of the year,
Yeah.
be sure to check that out
Go
as
look
well.
at the last episode where we left off with the NBA championship series ended, and we had a new champion. I don't know if you remember the previous episode. We talked
Nope.
about the Lakers. Remember
I'm,
the Lakers and the Pistons? I kind of
Yeah.
hinted that the Pistons were starting to form the bad boys, kind of.
I don't know.
Well, this is when the bad boys took over. Bill Laimbeer was known. He's a big, dumb white guy that was known for like beating the crap out of people on the court. Anyway,
Like beating people up?
like knocking guys out, getting fouled out and stuff.
Oh.
And then he hurt his face, and he had to wear this big dumb plastic thing on his face, and he looked like an idiot. But the Beastie Boys hated Bill Laimbeer. But anyway, the Pistons won the series in a 4-game sweep, making the first time the Lakers had swept. The first time the Lakers had swept the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, only to be swept in the finals.
Okay.
As of today, the Pistons are the only recent Eastern Conference team to sweep an NBA Finals. Prior to 2016, the Pistons were the only team to clinch all 4 series on the road. So they had the rough play, Bill Laimbeer, I talked about that. They were the bad boys. And then after this series, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar announced his retirement.
Oh,
You want
yeah.
to guess how old he was?
Probably 33 or something.
42.
Yeah.
After 20 years in the NBA.
Wow. I wish I could retire at
42.
42.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
And Pistons guard Joe Dumars was the MVP. Then on June 16th, 1989, Ghostbusters 2 came out,
Okay.
and that was the 7th top grossing movie that year.
I have no memory of Ghostbusters 2.
So the only thing I remember it for is Bobby Brown.
Okay.
Remember he sang that they had another Ghostbuster song. It wasn't the who you gonna call it was the In Control. Oh, we oh.
Oh, yeah, I do
They call
kind
them
of.
Ghostbusters and the too
Yeah.
hot to handle, too cold to hold. They call them
That's
Ghostbusters
right.
and the In
That's right,
Control.
that's right.
Had a thrilling party with the bunch of children. All the wild slime was under the building. I won't do the rest.
No,
But
don't
remember,
do the rest.
Remember Bobby Brown was in the movie too. He was a bellhop or something. And he had the Gumby hair.
I don't know if I've ever seen Ghostbusters
Oh.
2.
Well, Vigo. Vigo's the bad guy. It's all about Vigo, the master of evil. Try to battle my boys. That's not an ego.
Okay.
So the only thing I have about it is that the role of Vigo, he's the bad guy, was played by Wilhelm von Homburg.
Okay.
All of his lines were dubbed by Max von Sydow.
Oh, the guy from The Exorcist.
Is that who that is? I didn't know who that was.
Yeah, he was the old priest in The Exorcist.
Anyway, Wilhelm was unaware that he would be dubbed, and he left the premiere in anger when he didn't find out till the premiere,
Oh.
and so he left. He was
Oh,
all pissed
God,
off. He left it off.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, man, I'd be pissed too. Probably invited all his friends. Look, watch me in this movie. Great, and they say, "Oh, you couldn't even talk, and you
Yeah.
jackass." Do you know who Wilhelm von Homburg is?
No, I do not. And I didn't see the movie,
This
so.
guy plays Vigo, so I think he's like a little guy or little bad guy or something. All right. And then Thursday, June 22nd, 1989, in a hearing before Judge Norbert A. Nadell on Pete Rose's request for a temporary restraining order, Dowd reveals evidence that shows Pete Rose bet on baseball, including Reds games, who he played for,
Oh.
in 1985 and 1986 when he was a player manager, as well as in 1987. The New York Times reports the FBI has determined Rose's handwriting is on betting slips seized from Peters.
Oh, boom.
So that came out, and then it was like, oh, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
I remember people thinking, like, what's the big deal? Everybody gambles, blah, blah, blah. But this was like, he was not only a player,
As
but
a
a manager.
manager.
So he could totally.
Fix the games.
But I think his argument, if I remember correctly, a lot of his arguments was, I was betting on the Reds.
Right.
I was betting on us to win.
Yeah, you can't fix the game.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to lose. I wasn't betting that we'd lose. I was betting that we'd win, and then I'd go try to win because I'm a real trier. And his name was always Charlie Hustle.
Yeah.
They call people that run when you're just jogging. Like, we're just jogging around the lap. You don't need to sprint the whole thing. But Pete Rose is the guy they call Charlie Hustle because he's trying to beat everybody on just a warm-up lap kind of thing. You know, like, stop trying so hard, jackass. Because in sports, you kind of just, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, we had a guy in football that we'd have to run conditioning. It's not a race. We're all just,
Yeah.
we all have to run 2 laps at the end of the thing. And he always had to be first. And if he wasn't first, he would have an injury and he'd fall down. Like, oh crap, no, somebody beat him. And then he's, oh, I got it. He wouldn't finish the running because he had an injury. It's like every time.
Yeah.
So he was a Charlie Hustle. So I kind of believe that he probably did think he was going to win and just was betting on himself. But maybe not. We'll see. Maybe there's more news. I didn't read all this, so we'll see.
Okay.
So anyway, Pete Rose, big ugly dude. And then on the very next day, on Friday, June 23rd, 1989, Batman, the #1 grossing film of 1989, Batman.
Yep.
This is like
I was working in a movie theater when this came out.
Oh, were you?
Yep, 1989, the summer.
This is like the first big superhero.
That was the summer
movie,
I worked
think.
there. Yep.
Well, did you know who played Batman?
Michael Keaton.
Do you know who played the Joker? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was Jack Nicholson.
Well, did you know that Robin Williams was offered the role of the Joker?
Oh, really?
When Jack Nicholson was hesitating, like he wasn't
He didn't know if he wanted to do it.
And Robin Williams even accepted the role. But when producers approached Nicholson again and told him Williams would take the part if he didn't, Nicholson then took it.
Oh, boom.
And Robin Williams was released.
Oop.
Robin Williams resented being used as bait and not only refused to play the Riddler in Batman Forever, but he also refused to be involved in any Warner Brothers productions until the studio apologized.
Did they ever?
I think they did, because I'm sure he did some later. Jack Nicholson received a percentage of the gross on the film due to its massive box office take.
Yeah.
He took home around $60 million.
Whoa.
As of 2003, it was still the single movie record of an actor's salary, but that's been 15 years.
Yeah,
So who knows?
it's
The website I got that from has not been updated since 2003. So
Yeah.
isn't that crazy though?
Yeah, that's crazy.
a lot of money. That's crazy. And he was the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Robin Williams.
I know.
He would have been a great Joker.
Yeah. Well, I don't
He's
know.
so silly and crazy. I mean, he would have been a great Riddler.
Yeah. Great Riddler.
I mean, he's so crazy and wacky.
I guess the Joker is a whole new thing since Heath Ledger did it so brilliantly. Like, the Joker to me isn't
as silly. He's
Yeah.
more evil, just
like he's
badass,
just
crazy.
crazy.
He's crazy scary.
Crazy.
Yeah, he
and
would have
scary.
been. He would have been more silly of a cartoon if Robin Williams did.
He totally would have been.
Yeah.
And I prefer the crazy, scary one.
Yeah,
I mean, that was just the most brilliant performance.
yeah. I don't really. I guess I remember it.
Oh, so good.
Heath Ledger's the guy from Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah.
Which one is he?
The blonde one.
The sexual lover one?
You're ridiculous.
I really don't remember Heath Ledger much. I remember that movie, but like I wouldn't pick him out in a crowd.
Yeah. Well, he's dead now, so.
I know. Friday, that same day that Batman came out,
Yep.
another movie came out, the number 5 overall grossing movie of 1989. You want to guess what it is?
No.
Rick Moranis is in it.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Yes, you guessed it.
Yeah, that's pretty much the biggest movie that he was in.
Except Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was in Ghostbusters.
Spaceballs.
Yeah, that's true, too.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking...
Little Shop of Horrors.
I'm thinking of
Just like
89.
everything he's done. Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking of in 89.
That's true. So Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So some other titles that they were going to call it before they named it that was Grounded, The Big Backyard, and Teeny Weenies.
Those are all terrible titles.
Those were all working titles.
But then again, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is kind of a dumb title, too.
Yep. The Society for the Preservation of English Language and Literature awarded Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with its 1989 Dunce Cap Award, citing the title's grammatical error of using the word shrunk instead of shrank.
Oh. Okay.
And do you remember the scene when he's in the kids in the giant thing of Cheerios?
Sort of.
The giant bowl of Cheerios
Yeah.
he's in when he's about to eat them?
Yeah.
A tank was filled with 16,000 gallons of milk-like substance made from chlorinated water, food thickener, and pigment. The
God.
Cheerios were made from tractor inner tubes, 12 feet in diameter, coated in foam.
Making movies was such a fucking mess before computers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Think about it. Somebody had to put all that shit together.
They didn't make all that
then
crap. And
take
somebody
it
had to jump
away
into it.
And
And then get rid of it and
and
drain
then-
it out and throw it away
and
somewhere.
then you have to do it 85 times to get the same color or whatever the hell. And
Now computers just make everything
Yeah.
in a second.
I mean, think about all the shit they had to make, physical things they had to make for all those kinds of movies.
All the time that saved,
Think
too.
about like Star Wars and stuff, like
Oh, yeah.
all the shit they had
All
to
those
make.
miniatures
for
they had to build and makeup and all that.
Yes, and even the sets and stuff. Like they can CGI all of it now.
And it looks pretty real.
Yeah, it looks pretty damn real.
And now instead all that money made to do all that stuff, it just goes in some computer nerd's pocket.
Yeah, that's right.
Some geek just gets a whole
I
bunch
wish
of
it
money.
was me.
Well, you are a geek.
I'm not a
no,
computer
I'm sorry,
geek,
it's
though.
not. Yeah, you're definitely not a computer geek.
No, I'm not.
You can barely right-click.
That is not true.
You're not very good at right-clicking.
That is not true.
You're just not much of a right-clicker. I'm sorry. That's how I judge people on their
All right, what's
computer
next?
savvy. Saturday, June 24th, 1989, Richard Marx comes barreling back.
Oh,
We thought Richard
God,
Marx's
we thought he
career
was
would be over.
gone.
We were
No.
hoping Richard Marx's career was over, but no. He says, wait, I'm not done yet.
Yep.
I have another number one hit.
And
And I'm still not over the fact that he kept Pour Some Sugar on Me from being the number one song.
yeah,
Remember
you
when I
still got
said
a
that?
grudge against him for
Yeah,
that.
he kept that off. And that just goes to show America doesn't always know what's best. We don't know what's best for us. Sometimes we pick Richard Marx over Def Leppard. And then years later we look back and are like, whoa, Def Leppard was way better than Richard Marx. Richard Marx sucks.
And what's this song?
This time, don't you know? Don't you know?
God,
Not gonna stop until we're
I gotta listen to you
satisfied.
sing again and try to figure out what the hell the song is.
Satisfied? I don't remember. I just wrote myself a note that says, don't you know, ooh? It was going to help me remember it. But
I don't know
don't
it.
you know? It's a terrible song, so who cares?
I don't
Richard
think
Marx
you're
blows.
singing it remotely correctly.
I'm singing
either.
it exactly right.
I don't think you are.
Never gonna stop until we're satisfied.
Dude, that doesn't sound like a song at all.
Shut up. I sing perfectly. In fact, I'm the best singer that ever lived.
You're a pretty bad singer.
I'm not that bad. I'm pretty good, actually. A lot of people tell me I should
No,
keep at
nobody
it.
tells you that. There's nobody saying that.
Yeah, there is.
No, there
People wake me up in the morning when I'm at work, sleeping under my desk.
Did you put that shirt on purpose?
What shirt on?
You got American Timelines.
Oh, I'm wearing an American Timeline shirt that is available on Amazon.com for $89.99.
It is not.
Oh, no, it's not available. Maybe it will be.
Richard Marx is so 80s. Oh. I won't give up until I'm satisfied.
I won't give up until I'm satisfied.
Don't you know?
I won't give up until I'm satisfied. Yeah, that's a terrible song. Well, not
Richard Marx.
Now I'll ask you in 20 minutes to remember this song.
And I won't.
You won't be able to because
Nope.
it's such a forgettable, awful song.
It
Richard
is.
Marx sucks, and he made the world worse.
Well, and he's just an emblem of the 80s.
He is. He's probably a really nice guy,
Richard Marx.
but he did make the world more crappy.
Yeah, that's true. He,
Like,
just,
think
he
about
did
it.
something physically to make the world crappier.
Just think about it. There are Richard Marx fans that are like, oh my God, I wish Richard Marx put out more music.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have an opinion. They shouldn't get to vote.
No.
Richard
I
Marx
agree.
fans should not be allowed to vote.
No, you're right.
We should make that up. I want to write my congressman. And then on Friday, June 30th, Highway to Heaven was on.
Oh, yeah. I never watched that show.
Jonathan and Mark's latest assignment. I don't know which one's which. Jonathan is the guy with the big hair. Michael
I never
Landon.
saw it.
I think, probably.
No, Michael Landon was the angel.
I know. I think he's Jonathan. Because the other guy was a scummy bearded guy with an Oakland A's hat. Jonathan and Mark. He's probably Mark.
Mark. Yeah.
Jonathan and Mark's latest assignment has them as private investigators, and their clients are a Vietnamese couple who have come to the U.S. to look for their sons, whom they had to give up during the war. Jonathan and Mark locate them, and the couple wants to bring them back with them to Singapore. But the boys have a life in the U.S. now and have bonded with the couple who took them in.
All right.
I'm
glad we know that.
I think I brought that up because I think you have something on that date that I was going to say. Oh, Michael Landon.
On what date?
June 30th.
I don't have anything until August.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Why the hell did I look up Highway to Heaven?
I don't know, but that was a big, long conversation for that.
Saturday, July 1st, 1989, Richard Marx gets taken over by Milli Vanilli.
Oh.
Remember Milli Vanilli?
Yes. I'm trying to think of the song.
Ba 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 baby. Don't forget my number.
So bad.
Ba 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 baby. You're changing your mind about my singing now.
No, that song is so bad.
I really did a lot of Milli Vanilli research because I totally forgot that they even existed.
You did?
I mean, I didn't. I remembered them right away, but remember that whole thing?
Yeah.
That whole thing. So
They
some
didn't
of
even
that,
sing it?
a lot of that happened this year, so we'll get into some of that.
Yeah.
But I looked up Robin Fab's new album. Like, I know way more about Milli Vanilli than I need to know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that song was number one on July 1st. Before, at this point, nobody knew that they were fake. That
Of course
they weren't
not.
the real singers.
Not when their songs were number one.
Yeah, not at this point. But the same year, it was
Yeah.
all going to unravel. Then Friday, July 7th, 1989, the third highest grossing movie came out. Do you know what that is? The third highest in 1989? Lethal Weapon 2.
Okay. I didn't see that.
You didn't?
Mm-mm. I don't think I've seen any of the Lethal Weapons.
Really?
Yeah.
During production of Lethal Weapon 2, Richard Donner was shocked when Mel Gibson confided that he was drinking 5 pints of beer for breakfast. Despite his alcohol problems, Gibson was known for his professionalism and punctuality.
And he's a psychopath.
He's drinking 5 pints of beer for breakfast.
Ugh. It'd be awful.
Now, back then, beer was like Budweiser, so you can drink a lot more than that. Than
I know, but
beers today.
but even
5
still,
just for breakfast.
you'd feel like shit all day.
Yeah.
Why would you want to
Drunk all
do
the
that?
time. Well, you can't help it.
No, I know, but I just mean, after 5 things of beer, I feel like awful.
Yeah, right.
So I can't imagine wanting to do that in the morning, right? Getting ready for the day.
After 5 beers in St. Louis, you're the designated driver.
That's right. That's true.
And then on Saturday, July 8th of 1989, Fine Young Cannibals take over the Billboard #1 spot.
She drives me crazy.
No, we did that already.
We did that one.
I think
Darn.
last year or earlier.
That's the only one I know that they did.
Good thing.
Oh, I do kind of remember that.
Good thing.
Finding Cannibals is not very good.
They're not great. The song made its first appearance in the movie Tin Men in 1987. The Fine Young Cannibals portrayed a nightclub band in the movie, performing this song and 3 others, including the song's B-sides, Social Security.
Okay.
That film is set in Baltimore in 1963, and the song's retro soul style is consistent with that setting.
Okay.
Do you care about that?
Nope.
Did you see the movie Tin Men?
No.
That doesn't sound familiar to me either. And then on Monday, July 10th,
Yeah.
that's my birthday of 1989. It's my 13th birthday. When he died in 1980, Mel Blanc died on my birthday.
Okay.
When Mel Blanc died, Mel Blanc, who was the voice of Porky Pig, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and many other characters from Looney Tunes, they put on his tombstone the phrase, "That's all, folks."
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I think I've seen that
I
before.
feel like I've heard that too.
Yeah.
Mel Blanc, he was great. I gotta say though, the people that they have doing the voices now, like
They sound exactly like
they
him.
did a great job. They sound really good.
Yeah.
Whoever does it does a great job. And then Saturday, July, but you can tell, you can still tell
Just a
it's
little
not
bit,
him.
yeah.
You
It's
can
not
tell.
authentic.
It's just not quite him. Then Saturday, July 15th, 1989, Simply Red takes over the top spot in the charts. Again, remember we talked about Simply Red
Yeah,
before?
and I can't remember which one.
If you don't know
Oh,
me
that's right.
by now. I didn't know he redid that song. It was originally a 1972 R&B song
Was it?
by.
I get to see that.
You know who sang that originally?
No.
I didn't even. I don't think I know this version. I listened to it. I didn't recognize it. I only know the original by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
Oh, okay.
If you like, it sounds like a Motown song.
It does. That's why I said I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was originally written for Patti LaBelle, but they never recorded it.
Okay.
So boom, there you go.
Yep.
Did you know that Patti LaBelle is like a huge gay icon?
Yeah.
Gay guys love Patti LaBelle. I didn't know that. I just recently found that out.
Yep.
Well, good for her.
Good
and
for,
good for gay guys.
Good for everybody.
Gay guys are great. They figure out what's great.
They do. They know the truth.
You know what? I think that we should just give over the Congress and the Senate and everything to gay guys for a while.
That would be my dream.
Wouldn't that be great?
That would be my dream country.
Hey, we're going to make it fabulous.
Oh
Wouldn't
my
that be great?
God. It would be my dream.
All of it. Like, can you imagine how great the world
It would be like RuPaul's Drag Race. There'd be all this infighting and bitching and going on in the back.
But yeah, but overall they'd come together and run everything great.
That's
maybe.
right.
Yeah, I don't know. We should try that.
We should.
The thing is, it already is.
Yeah.
It already is. They're just all closeted.
That's right. So, on the
all-
Republican side, at least.
Yeah, they're all like in bathrooms in the airports.
That's right.
And then on Friday, July 21st, 1989,
Mm-hmm.
the famous quote from this movie was, "I'll have what she's having."
When Harry Met Sally.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the orgasm scene.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
And I got to say, I used to watch that scene over and over and just,
You did?
no, I didn't.
I was gonna say, that'd be a little weird.
But I might start now. No, it was weird. Meg Ryan is like squeaky clean.
Yeah, she is.
Meg Ryan, I wonder what she's up to now.
I think she had, I don't know. I thought she had problems.
She might have. I don't know. She might have not. Had
She
any problems.
does not look good. She got way too much plastic surgery.
Oh, plastic surgery.
Yeah.
See, that's what society puts all that pressure on.
Yeah,
actresses.
she looks-
like they have to look perfect.
She looks bad.
She
Yeah.
was always looked very young, so now she might look poor thing.
Yeah.
On that same day that I'll Have What She's Having
Mm-hmm.
came out, Fab Morvan and Rob Pilatus were talked about. Fab Morvan and Rob Pilatus were Milli Vanilli.
Yes.
Well, so we thought.
Mm-hmm.
Beth McCarthy Miller, then an executive with MTV, said the duo's poor English language skills when they came in for their first interview with the channel stirred doubts among those present as to whether they had sung on their records. The first public sign that the group was lip-syncing came on July 21st, 1989, during a live performance on MTV
Yep.
at the Lake Compounce Theme Park in Bristol, Connecticut.
Didn't it start skipping or
as
something?
they performed the recording of the song "Girl, You Know It's True,"
Mm-hmm.
jammed and began to skip, repeatedly playing the partial line "Girl, You Know It's Girl, You Know It's
Oh my
Girl,
God.
You Know It's" through the speakers. And they had video of this. I remember seeing that on
I
TV.
remember seeing it too. They just stop or
They
something, don't
continued
they?
to pretend to sing and dance on stage for a few moments. Then they both ran off stage. According to the episode of VH1's
Oh my God.
Behind the Music, which profiled Milli Vanilli, downtown Julie Brown stated that fans attending the concert seemed neither to care or to even notice, and the concert continued as if nothing unusual had happened. In a March 1990 issue of Time magazine, Pilatus was quoted.
That's funny. The fans didn't even.
They didn't even know. They thought it was just on purpose or whatever it was. They didn't know.
Idiots.
Because they were trying to remix stuff.
Yeah.
And they probably thought it was just a dance remix or something. Pilatus was quoted proclaiming himself to be the new Elvis. Shortly after, in March 1990, issue of Time magazine, Pilatus was quoted proclaiming himself to be the new Elvis.
Who was quoted?
One of the
One of
Milli
the two
Vanilli
guys.
Fab
Okay.
and Rob. So Rob said, "I'm the new Elvis," basically. Like,
And this
we're
was
so hot.
after
This-
that
this-
MTV thing happened?
Yeah, because they didn't.
Nobody
nothing
caught
came
it?
out. Like,
Oh.
that was in '89, and then by March of '90,
Yeah.
he was like, "We're so big, we can do
Yeah.
whatever we want. I'm
We're
the
like
new
Elvis."
And he also said he explained that because we're the new Elvis. Like, we're so good and talented, we are more talented than Bob Dylan, Paul McCartney, and Mick Jagger.
What?
Yep. And
What an idiot.
and that is, I'm not sure if it comes up later, but that is what that quote is what made
Pissed people off.
the guy who really sang the songs.
Oh.
That's what made him like say, "Fuck this guy."
Yeah.
And he came out and told people that, hey, they're a sham. We
Yeah.
really sing that. That's why he did it. And then he was paid by the producer money, like $150,000. Like, hey, shut up. Stop
Yeah.
telling people we need this to be big or whatever. And he took that money and he stopped. And then I think later he came out again. And then finally it all blew up and they all discovered it. But
So I
always thought it was just that skipping at
yeah,
the
did
concert.
too. I
and
thought
then
that-
it uncovered it.
yeah, that's what I
No,
thought.
That's not what happened. It was that guy
Oh.
being all full of himself and then the real guy coming out and telling everyone.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, I read up all on this. I was like, I didn't know.
Yeah, I know.
You know, so then Robin Fab put out an album like 2 years later of really them.
Oh, and they called it Robin Fab or something, didn't they?
I think it's called Robin Fab was their group, and I looked it up online, and it actually got pretty good reviews, but it's terrible.
It really?
Like it's them singing and dancing and rapping, and the one guy only does a little bit of it. The first
Yeah.
guy, I don't remember which one's Robin, which one's Fab, but
It
it's
doesn't
bad,
matter.
and it clearly you can tell they have really thick German accents or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
they can barely sing in English. Like it's
Oh my God.
it's awful. It's very shitty. But I will say, so one of them ended up dying. I
Oh,
don't
he
think
did?
He drug overdose or killing himself or some kind of thing. The other one, they both I think had drug problems. You know,
Yeah.
horrible problems.
Yeah.
And went away. But the other one that lived later put out an album like somewhat recent, like 2012 or something or 10, and that actually doesn't sound. I'm not saying it's good, but it sounds more like mainstream pop music. Like it kind of,
It
I
would
could see it being
passable.
a hit, and I wouldn't know it was.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, unbelievably bad, like Robin Fab was.
Okay.
There you go. That's way too much information
Yes, it
about Milli
is.
Vanilli.
It is a
I don't
lot.
know
You
why.
really did some research.
I fell in a wormhole. You know how you like
rabbit
you're
holes.
fascinated by something?
Yeah.
A rabbit hole. I guess I always call it a wormhole for some reason. But you get fascinated by something like, oh my god, I forgot that whole thing happened.
Yeah, that's right.
What happened again? And I just remember middle school girls loving Milli Vanilli and having their shirts and whatever. But
Yep. You can wear them ironically now.
did you have a Milli Vanilli
No.
T-shirt? Saturday, July 22nd, 1989, the day after Milli Vanilli had that snafu, Martika took over the Billboard charts
I don't even remember that.
with Toy Soldiers.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
I can't even sing it other than that Toy
Yeah,
Soldiers
we
part.
don't need to.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. You know who Martika is?
No.
She was from Kids Incorporated.
Oh,
Did you
really?
ever see that show on
Yes.
Disney Channel? I think it was on Disney
No,
Channel.
I don't think there was a Disney Channel in '89.
No, there was. There was. It was like on. You had to pay for it though. Like,
Oh.
but sometimes cable would give you a free things. So we watched Kids Incorporated every once in a while. It was terrible. It was
Okay.
like Barney, but with pop songs
Yeah.
and a little bit older kids.
Yeah.
And they could all sing and everything, but it was just cheesy. Like it was
Mhm.
just, yeah. Anyway, so she was on that show. She was like the hot girl on that show or something. You don't remember Kids Incorporated?
No.
Kids Incorporated, KIDS.
I don't know.
Does that sound familiar at all?
No.
It was like kids in a rock band or something. Or
I mean, I was 16 in '89.
yeah,
so
you were too cool for that.
too big.
Too big. You're still playing with dolls, though. Yeah. Wednesday, August 2nd, 1989, Parenthood came out. That was
Yeah.
the ninth top grossing movie of 1989.
I remember that.
Martha Plimpton plays the older sister of Joaquin Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
a.k.a. Leaf Phoenix.
Yeah.
In real life, she dated his older brother, River, for nearly 5 years. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think I did know that.
And during filming of Parenthood, the cast became obsessed with playing the murder game. It's a game in which one person who is the murderer has to find a subtle way to kill other players.
Oh, we played that at Huron.
Simply by looking at them without giving themselves away as the murderer. And apparently this is very apparent in the dinner scene where
Mhm.
everyone is sitting around a table. If you watch everyone's eye movements, it's obvious they're playing that game.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Isn't that funny?
No, we played that at Huron.
Yeah.
Remember?
It was Assassin.
Assassin.
That's different,
But
I
I
think.
think it's the same thing.
No, that one sounds like it's one person, the murderer. Like, isn't Assassin like everybody gets somebody's name until you kill
Oh, that's
everybody
right.
else
It's
or
a little
something?
different, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think it's the same type of
Yeah.
thing. Which is why I probably included it.
Okay.
Saturday, August 5th, 1989.
Mm-hmm.
The new number one song that I completely forgot about on the Billboard charts.
Okay.
Prince,
Yeah.
Bat Dance.
Oh, yeah.
You remember Bat Dance?
I
Bat
d-
Dance.
Yeah, I kind of remember it now that you say that.
I watched the
'Cause it
whole-
went with the Batman movie.
Yeah, I watched the whole video, and Prince is a mix between Two-Face and the Joker and Batman, but
Oh,
he's
really?
got two faces. Half of him is Batman, I think, and the other half is the Joker, and he's dancing. It's like a huge, long, epic musical video, like
Really, for that song, it's
for
kind
that some Bat Dance, and that was number one on the radio. Like,
I
who
know.
would listen to that? 'Cause there's not a lot of words and stuff to it.
right.
It's just the Batman theme, but it's really weird. I don't know.
It is weird.
I forgot it even existed, so I'm gonna start listening to that all the time.
Oh, you? Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Prince.
Prince.
Did Bat Dance. I didn't remember that happened. Bat Dance.
All right, what's next?
And then Bat Dance came out again, and then we're going to talk more about
No,
Bat
we're not going
Dance.
to talk anymore
In
about
more
Bat Dance.
Bat Dance news, Saturday, August 12th, 1989, Richard Marx one more time.
You're kidding.
One more time. Richard Marx had three
Three.
Billboard hits.
In
Number
1989?
one? How was he number one? He's such a
Because the
terrible...
last one was 89 too, wasn't it?
I think so.
So it was
Or
just,
was it 88? I can't remember. He was
it was just
terrible.
1 year, one album probably.
How was Richard
It's
Marx...
probably on the same album. That was
How
the
was
only
he-
album he ever did.
What is wrong with America?
Yeah, I know.
This makes me sad to be an American.
What's this one called?
Oh, my God. I am ashamed of America today.
What?
Right here waiting.
I'll be right here waiting for you.
Wherever you
go, I'll be. Is that right?
I think that's a different song.
Oh,
We'll be right here waiting for you. Wherever you go, whatever you do,
I'll be
right here waiting
No, that's
for you.
that's
a
you're right.
different
Those
song,
are two different songs. That's
right?
right.
That's
Yep.
a different song. Right here
I will
waiting.
be right here waiting for you.
He wrote this as a love song to his wife, Cynthia Rhodes, who he was on the road, and I'll try to find it because I don't think it was that one.
I know it now.
You do?
Yeah. It's almost exactly like that other one though.
It is?
Yeah.
Who cares? Who
Yeah.
really cares? Anyway, he wrote about his wife, and they later got divorced.
Oh.
But she
bummer.
she played Tina Tech in Flashdance.
I don't know.
Do you know who that is?
I can't remember.
Jackie in Staying Alive, and Penny in Dirty Dancing, which I don't know any of those parts or who that is. But anyway, they got divorced.
Okay. August 18th, 1989.
Drew Connolly's birthday.
It was Drew Connolly's birthday, and Eric and Lyle Menendez
Yeah.
purchased shotguns at a Big Five sporting goods chain store in San Diego.
Wait a minute. How many shotguns?
I don't know. They just
You just
purchased.
said 5.
No, at Big Five sporting goods chain
Oh.
store. Try to listen.
Sorry. They purchased those shotguns the same time that Mandy Patinkin and B.B. King were on David Letterman?
Yes. And
The
that was
same-
over 100 miles away from the family's mansion in Beverly Hills.
Wait, they bought those guns the same day that Bucky Dent replaced Dallas Green as the New York Yankees manager?
Yes. Then on August 19th,
Yeah.
their parents chartered a yacht and took them shark fishing.
They took the kids shark fishing?
Mm-hmm.
The same day that 13 East was on NBC, starring plump and personable character actress Diana Alice Bellamy.
Okay. Then on August 20th, they burst into the den of their home and discharged 15 shots into their parents while the couple was watching television on the couch. Eric said that he fired first, but in the end, Lyle fired best. He landed the bullet in the back of Jose's head and shot the fatal blow into Kitty's face.
Wait a minute. The day after their parents lovingly took them shark fishing, they shot and killed them?
Yep. Then the brothers...
Wait, they killed them the same day that Saved by the Bell was on? And the particular episode was Dancing to the Max, where there was a dance contest? Mm-hmm. And Screech and Lisa won it?
Yes. Then the brothers, who were 21 and 18 at the time, drove to a movie theater and bought tickets for Batman. They tossed the guns and changed into clean, unbloodied clothes before driving back to their house and pretending to discover the scene all over again. Lyle's hysterical whine of "someone killed our parents" and his 911 call would later be made fun of in a Jim Carrey movie.
Really?
I'm not sure which one, though. I couldn't figure that
I
out.
don't remember that part.
Yeah.
Do you think they were listening to Bat Dance on the way to the
They could have
movie?
been. Now, I got a lot of my research from, there's two really good Vanity Fair articles by Dominic Dunn, who is a crime reporter. He's a defense attorney, I think. And,
Dominic Dunn. That sounds familiar, but
Yeah.
I don't think I would know who that is.
yeah.
So, wait a minute. So, do you think when they were in the movie, like, they couldn't have enjoyed the movie, right? They had to be just replaying in their head what
I'm
just
sure,
happened the whole time.
yeah.
But we're sure that's what happened? The jury's
Yes.
completely...
And
like,
we'll
we
get
know
into
that-
it. We'll
Oh.
get into it. So let's look at who the parents were. Jose Menendez was Eric and Lyle's
That's the dad. Okay.
He was a Cuban immigrant.
Okay.
He had come from, took a boat here, and he started penniless, and he climbed his way up to the top kind of thing.
Okay.
He was chief executive officer of Live Entertainment, which was a video distribution company that owns Corelco Pictures, which is a movie production company.
Okay.
So he was highly regarded by both his company and its parent company, but he was also deeply despised by nearly everyone who worked for him. So
he was deeply despised by everyone who worked for him.
Yeah, and
so he pulled himself up by the bootstraps, but to do it, he had to step on some people, probably.
Yep. And so at the time of the murder, there was speculation at Live that any one of several executives there had reason to commit them.
Well, because he was probably taught that's how you get by in the USA.
Well,
you listen to Richard Marx and you step on people.
That's right. Well, he loved to humiliate people in meetings in front of their coworkers.
Really?
He loved to fire people. He loved to threaten to deprive people of their Christmas bonuses a few days before Christmas.
Really? So he's an asshole.
Yeah. His own bonus that year, the year he was blown away by his sons, would have been $850,000.
His bonus? His bonus was $850,000.
Yep.
Holy crap. What business was he in? What? Oh, he's a video game. You just said video.
No, movie.
Production company.
Yeah.
Film production.
So he also had a mistress for 8 years. And he had a family motto.
Well, now, hold on. This is where I stop here. If your bonus is $850,000, that's just your bonus?
What are you talking about? So you would have a mistress if that was your bonus?
Well, the mistress just obviously just comes along with
No,
that,
it does
right?
not.
Name one person who gets a bonus that high that doesn't.
I don't even know anybody that gets a bonus that high.
Exactly my point.
All right. So
it's a different world. We can't even imagine what life like.
He had a family motto that he instilled in his sons that was basically cheat, steal, lie, win.
That's not far off from Jesse the Body Ventura's. His words to live by are: win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat.
Really?
Yeah. So
okay.
It's just like Jesse the Body.
So the boys became avid tennis players, and the father pushed.
Nobody likes tennis players.
And the father pushed him into sports that didn't require teamwork, so it was easier to fuck people over to prepare them for the business world.
What? Holy crap! So this guy's a total asshole.
Yeah. So there's not much known about the mom, Kitty. Was her name. She
probably was just an enabler, went along with everything.
She was a former beauty queen, 6 years Jose's senior.
Oh, older than him, huh?
Yeah.
Well, this is starting to sound a lot like you and I.
She had told her therapist at one point before the murders that she was worried that her sons were sociopaths. So that was a clue.
Really?
Lyle and Eric were the typical rich kid bullies, but they weren't really popular.
Huh.
So they were just rich.
Yeah.
And they would bully other people. Lyle was definitely the dominant brother. He was the older one.
Uh-huh.
And he was being groomed to take his father's place in the business.
Even that young, they were in high school, right?
Mm-hmm. Eric was overly sensitive and weak and prone to crying.
Oh, well, that sounds like me.
Now, they had a previous issue with the police. In 1988, they stole $100,000 in cash and jewels from a safe in the house of one of their friends.
What?
And the dad made Eric take the rap since he was a minor. He wouldn't get...
Wait, the dad was in on the heist?
No, but when they got caught...
He knew it was both of them, but he made weaker
Eric
brother.
so
that the other one was squeaky clean.
Because he was going into college.
Yeah. Oh.
So in 1987, Eric, with his friend Craig, wrote a screenplay called Friends, where the main character, Hamilton Cromwell, looked, acted, and talked just like Eric, and the character murders his parents in that screenplay that they wrote.
That sounds like a good screenplay. Like, I would give that the green light. I mean, based on the character's name alone.
I know, right?
I would give that Hamilton Cromwell. I mean, I want to know more about this guy.
So, I
want him to be played by Chevy Chase.
That's a good idea. We know the details of these murders because the brothers confessed them all eventually.
They did?
Mm-hmm. But they weren't arrested until half a year after the murders.
That's 6 months.
And they...
Sorry.
I'm
just like
In the meantime, they reportedly spent $1 million of their parents' money on parties, travel, and shopping.
After they died, but before they were convicted.
Yes.
Because for a while, there was a time, a big time where people thought they were innocent, right?
Yeah, right. Well, they thought that that there was a mob hit or something that happened.
Well, it sounds like it's not that it's a good idea, but they have if his dad's that much of an asshole, people are going to jump right away. There's a lot of people that would want to kill him. Like with Mr. Burns, who shot Mr. Burns, everybody hated that guy. So there's a lot of people that have a reason to.
So on August 24th, 1989, the day before his parents' funeral, Lyle dropped over $15,000 on 3 Rolex watches as witnesses, and he would later testify.
You mean the same night that Ving Rhames was on The Equalizer?
Yes.
The same night that Pete Rose, following discussions with Commissioner Bart Giamatti, who also is Paul Giamatti's dad, and baseball's attorneys, he voluntarily accepts a spot on baseball's permanently ineligible list.
Yes.
Tantamount to a lifetime ban.
Yes.
even though he really believed that he would get out of it. But that's the same day that happened.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. So, also sitting next to his father's secretary in the limo home from the funeral services, Lyle showed off the leather loafers and says, "Hey, Marcy, who says I couldn't fill my father's shoes?"
Huh.
Then he wondered aloud to another friend in the car how he could obtain tickets to the U.S. Open. So he was obviously not very broken up about it.
Wow.
The brothers moved out of the family's Beverly Hills mansion and stayed in a series of expensive hotels before finally leasing condominiums on the water in Marina del Rey. Their adjoining apartments had ample room for parties and movie nights with friends. Eric bought a Rolex too and clothes and lost thousands of dollars gambling. He decided to forego attending UCLA and instead hired a tennis coach for $60,000 in a year in hopes of going pro. He
What?
practiced up to 10 hours a day and flew to the Middle East to compete.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Just one of them did that.
Eric, the younger
Eric
one,
did.
yeah. So meanwhile, Lyle returns to Princeton.
So there's probably video somewhere of Eric Menendez playing tennis.
Yeah, there probably is. Meanwhile, Lyle returns to Princeton, but he doesn't attend classes. Instead, he focuses on business pursuits and shopping in the New Jersey and New York areas.
That sounds a lot like my college experience. I didn't do much class
But
going.
there was also a story, like when he first got to Princeton, Lyle realized he walked in and he thought he was supposed to have a private room in the dorms, and
Yeah.
there was somebody, they had accidentally given him a roommate, and so he threw this big fit and threw all the roommate's stuff out in the hall and stuff.
That sounds like a dick move.
Yeah.
That's not what I did in college.
So
I also didn't go to Princeton.
Lyle also hired a team of bodyguards to accompany him on his shopping excursions, and he spent $40,000 worth of clothes and a $60,000 Porsche.
Oh, man.
He purchased a popular student restaurant called Chuck's Spring Street Cafe for $550,000.
Wait, he bought the whole restaurant?
Yeah, and renamed it Mr. Buffalo's after its spicy wings. He wanted to turn it into a franchise.
So, okay, that's a stupid Buffalo. Mr. Buffalo's is kind of a dumb name.
Yeah, it
Although
is.
I kind of want some chicken wings right now.
So they dreamed of athletic success, musical success, and financial success, and they were even interested in politics.
Really?
Erickson was once quoted as saying, "My brother wants to become president of the U.S. I want to be senator and will be with the people of Cuba. I'm not going to live my life for my father, but I think his dreams are what I want to achieve. I feel he's in me, pushing me," is what he was quoted as saying.
Eric said that?
This is all before they were
Before
arrested.
they were outed.
So they didn't spend all that 6 months doing all that stuff.
They
They
didn't?
also went to therapy sessions with Dr. Jerome Oziel. And this is where
Oh, Dr. Oziel.
it's in these sessions where they would this was their
They
demise.
would eventually confess?
So the stress of it all was giving Eric an ulcer. So he confessed to his therapist what he and his brother had
The
done.
stress of it all, because it didn't sound like he was under a lot of stress.
No, I
Sounded
know,
like they were having
right?
a great time.
Yeah, I guess because the police were investigating and
They were still investigating and questioning him. So maybe during those good times, it just looked like good times, but you're really not. You know how they say that
Yeah.
the people, the life of the party is really deep down inside or just hurting.
Well, the session was taped, and the Oziel's mistress was in the other room, and she overheard the confession and went to the police.
The doctor's mistress
Yeah.
overheard it? Because I was going to ask you, isn't it a client
No, that's how they got around
psychology?
it.
They can't say
The
anything?
attorney
Because she listened to it. Not attorney, but a psychologist. Like, it's supposed to be confidential.
privileged. Yeah, but yeah, that's why. So Lyle Menendez was arrested on March 8th, 1990 in Beverly Hills. Eric was playing tennis in Israel at the time, but came home voluntarily and was arrested on March 11th. Well, Eric had said he got the idea from an NBC miniseries called The Billionaire Boys Club.
Yeah.
And the murders were almost a straight copycat of the plot of this film. They later got a copy of this film, and it was
It's
almost
exactly what
the
they
same
did.
What they did.
Like somebody went to see a
even
movie.
down to going to the movies
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
afterwards.
They shot somebody. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's the main plot and the idea is shoot somebody, go to the movies, and then come back.
Yeah.
Which I feel
Well,
like
they
I feel like
snuck it-
we've covered that in something else too. Somebody else.
There
did
was it was that Rafe, it was that murder.
Yeah, the
It was
Rafe
another
Fafe,
one where
yeah.
he murdered his parents. He probably got the idea
Maybe
from
even
this.
from that.
Yeah, because this was such big news.
Yeah, but the RFFA happened before this, right?
No, that was in the 90s.
Oh, it was the 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I mean, in theory, the idea is not a bad one. If you're
at the movies, but you can sneak out in the middle of the movie. and,
start the movie, show you have the ticket, make sure you're seen there, like
Yeah.
wear something ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you can sneak out and sneak back in, that's the crux of it.
Yeah.
It sounds like the Menendez guys
They went afterwards.
They did it and then went
They
thinking
did.
that pathologists aren't going to be able to figure it out.
Yep. So, but then the case stalls for years. A judge ruled the portions of the tapes of the brothers' therapy sessions admissible as evidence, which their attorneys appealed. The battle for the tapes dragged out for 30 months until the Supreme Court of California intervened. Both boys were indicted on December 7th, 1992.
The same night that Love and War, a comedy about a woman running a bar and restaurant in downtown Chicago, was on, starring Jay Thomas and Joanna Gleason.
And tried separately for murder. The jury in Eric's case deadlocked on January 10th, 1994.
Oh, that's the same day on CBS. Dave's World was on, a sitcom about Dave Barry, starring Harry Anderson.
Okay.
And also with Shadow Stevens and Meshack Taylor.
The jury in Lyle's case deadlocked 2 weeks later. The judge declared mistrials. It wasn't until April 17th, 1996 that a third and final jury found the brothers guilty together. The whole process took nearly 7 years.
That's insane. So they,
Yep.
all that time, they weren't in jail all that time, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
they were?
Oh,
They
yeah.
were sitting in jail?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Are they still alive?
Well, I'm not done.
Oh.
So the initial case ended in a mistrial because of a convincing and surprising, when it was introduced, argument from the defense. Attorney Leslie Abramson and her team contended that both Lyle and Eric had been molested by their father since childhood. Now, this wasn't introduced into evidence until 10 days before the trial began. It was
So they kept it down in secret and wanted a bombshell thing, right?
because they had been in prison for 2 years by the time they came up with this. They had already been there for 2 years.
And
So-
you think they came up with this? This turned out to
Oh
not be
yeah.
true?
Oh, I mean,
Oh, you don't have to raise your voice.
I mean, it's ridiculous. So
Well, how was I to know?
Abramson, their lawyer, she's really well-known defense lawyer.
Oh, so like really rich.
Real good. So
Yeah.
the brothers, according to her, she helped the boys depict a lifetime of gruesome and relentless sexual assaults, so starting from childhood and continuing into their teens. According to her defense, the brothers finally banded together in the weeks before the murders to confront Jose and tell him they'd go public with the abuse and destroy his reputation if he didn't stop. They feared his retaliation, their legal team argued. They feared for their lives. That's why they bought the guns. The story was impossible to corroborate because the alleged villains were dead, but by the time the brothers opened up about the abuse, the public had been hating them and eating up the spoiled rich boy narrative for years.
Too late.
So, in what can only be considered overkill, the defense, in the old blame the victim strategy, has gone to great lengths to assassinate the character of Kitty Menendez, a deeply unhappy woman heartbroken by her husband's infidelity. Having pumped her full of lead, her sons now participate in killing her again as they listen calmly to their lawyers and cousins' descriptions of her as a desperate, demented, drunken, drugged, suicidal woman who harassed her husband's mistress and was also a dangerous driver and a lousy housekeeper. This is all
Jeez.
Dominic Dunn's writing. According to the defense, there were always dog feces on the floor and ferret feces dropped by the family's pet ferret under the bed in Mom and Dad's room, where Lyle was sent to lie when he was bad. There was also a rabbit, Lyle's rabbit, but the parents didn't like the rabbit and wanted Lyle to get rid of it. One morning, he found it dead in the garbage can. Either Mom or Dad or both had bashed in its head, and because Lyle hadn't gotten rid of it, as they had ordered him to.
This is all false.
And that's all what they
All just lies,
what they
probably.
said. Yeah. So they were told in court that Lyle at 14 was still wetting his bed, and that his parents would put the soaking, smelly sheets on the breakfast table.
Oh, that's what I do. with
They were
mine.
told that
My
Kitty
day.
threatened to poison her family,
sheets.
that she told her sons she hated them, that she could have had a career in broadcasting if she hadn't had them.
Yeah, she's probably right there.
The defense claims that she knew all along that her husband was molesting Eric. You will hear evidence that she never tended to her son while he was throwing up in the bathroom next door to her bedroom after a sexual episode with his father. You will also hear evidence that up to the age of 15, Eric's mother would periodically make her son submit to her physical inspections of his genitals, which she called checking you out, on and on.
That sounds too specific.
They also heard that
Sounds like that might be real.
They also heard that in a fit of rage with Lyle a week before the killing, she reached over and pulled off the 21-year-old's hairpiece.
Wait, whose hairpiece?
Yeah. So
Wait, a 21-year-old has a hairpiece?
Yep, and Leslie Abramson that would have the people believe that until that moment, Eric never knew that his brother and protector wore a toupee. According to Abramson, the exposure of the wig freed Eric to tell his brother what their father had been doing to him.
Wait. Is all this still fake?
Yeah,
You got
no,
co-
he's got a toupee.
He really does have
He
a-
does. He had some kind of.
And the brother didn't know he had a toupee.
That's what.
Real.
That's what they're trying to. They want people to believe.
So they're trying to... So you got Count Barfield over here, barfing every time he's molested.
Yeah.
And the mom's checking his junk?
That's what he says.
That's all
happened.
that's it. The mom's checking his junk, saying checking your junk to make sure there's no evidence? while Count Barfield is barfing
I don't know
everywhere,
why
and
she's
then there's
checking him out. I don't know why she would do that.
But the toupee thing's a real thing.
Yes, he really did have a toupee. But
At 16?
how can you? He had no hair.
I guess some people go bald early.
Like he had really, really premature baldness.
Really?
And he had a toupee. But they want people to believe that his brother didn't know that he had a toupee until this fight.
And that was what.
And then that caused him to open up about all this sexual
I'm
abuse.
bald also. I was barfing every time I was raped.
That's
and
right.
Mom checked my junk out.
Yep. That's what they want us to believe. I just have a little bit more.
But you don't sound convinced.
No, I don't. I'm not convinced. Hold on, I just have a little bit more.
That's all right.
So they
I
were
love you.
sentenced, and despite the request to be placed in the same prison, the Menendez brothers were separated and are still serving their life sentences miles apart to this day. But
Really?
that's actually, they just got, I saw on the news, they just got put in the same prison. Now they're in the same prison.
They did, really? Mm-hmm. Are they in the same gang?
No. Both had gotten married while behind bars. Lyle twice.
What?
His first wife was a former model. His current wife, Rebecca Sneed, is a magazine editor turned attorney. Eric married Tammy Sackerman, an attractive blonde with whom he'd been exchanging letters for 6 years.
Who are these people?
I don't know. That is a good fucking question.
Marry these guys, and why?
And so that is the sordid tale of the Menendez brothers.
I think our next season, we just need to do a whole new podcast on these women who marry crazy criminals.
Well, then we find out men do it too.
Well, yeah, everybody does it. These are beautiful people that could offer the world lots of things, but they're spending all their time with criminals.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the criminals
No,
were beautiful
the people who are marrying them, probably. I mean, you said one was a former model and one was a beautiful blonde.
I know.
Like,
but then they go and they marry criminals. I mean, Charles Manson had a 24-year-old wife.
It's something
before
about,
he died.
It's got to be a disorder, something about either fame or notoriety or being obsessed with something with having someone caged. They need to be locked up.
That, or you feel like you can save them. Like you feel like you can you can find the real humanity inside, and like it's a project. Yeah.
Well, and they can't go anywhere. They're not going to cheat on you.
That's right.
Except with other dudes.
Ew. Yeah, that's true.
When somebody drops a soap.
Yep, that's true. So that was the Menendez case. You think that was all right?
That was good. Yeah, that's actually definitely way more than because I never paid attention to any of those shows ever. I was just like, I don't care about this. I really paid no attention to any of that. So I was surprised by all that.
Okay, good.
That was good. I think it was interesting. And then on Friday, September 1st, a Michigan farmer named Robert Reed found a camera attached to balloons in his field.
Was it that lawn chair Larry?
No, it was balloons and a camera, not a chair with a guy drinking a bunch of beers.
Okay.
It was a camera attached to balloons. He found it in his field, and he got the film developed, and it contained images of what appeared to be a mutilated corpse.
Tell me everything.
Sparkling a year-long FBI investigation.
Did you say sparkling a year long?
I did say sparkling. I don't know why. It's sparking. I don't know why. I can't see. I got glasses. Anyway, it contained images of what appeared to be a mutilated corpse, sparking a year-long FBI investigation.
Okay.
This is where so they investigated it, and it turned out to be footage for Nine Inch Nails' first music video. Down in it, filmed 200 miles away.
Oh.
It's so disappointing, isn't it?
Yes.
So 1 month before Nine Inch Nails released their critically acclaimed 1989 debut album, Pretty Hate Machine, Trent Reznor and company made their way to Chicago's North Side to film a music video for its lead single, Down In It. The premise was simple enough. A man, played by Trent Reznor, climbed to the top of a tall building only to slip and fall to his death. And the video, so they show him walking up these steps in a building in a city, with a lot of buildings. The video ends with Nine Inch Nails members Richard Patrick and Christopher Verena discovering Reznor's dead body days later. To create the illusion of decay, Reznor was covered in cornstarch, and cameras tied to balloons They filmed overhead views. However, one of those cameras ended up breaking away during shooting and drifted all the way from Chicago to Burr Oak, Michigan, where it was discovered by a farmer.
Oh my God!
Upon seeing its scored contents, he called the police, who then called the FBI, who then launched a nationwide investigation under the assumption that the man featured in the video was actually dead, and what they were watching was a snuff film.
Oh my God! That's crazy.
Isn't that a crazy thing?
Yes, it is.
So I watched the whole video, and it's clearly, I can see how you would be.
You think
kinda
it's
creeped
real?
out. Yeah. Well, not the video because they've made it like rock and roll,
Yeah.
whatever. But you could tell, you can kind of gather what the must have been on the footage.
Yeah.
It's just the balloons,
Yeah, 'cause the
they didn't
higher up
edit-
pictures.
Yeah, they didn't edit any of that. But can you believe the balloons made it all the way from Chicago,
That's
all the
crazy.
way over, all across the?
I wonder what kind of
the lake?
balloons.
It must have been.
How did they control them and have them? How did the rest of the balloons? Were they controlled?
Well, they didn't control them very good. They
No.
lost one of them. Who knows?
That's nuts.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's a good story.
That's pretty funny. You were
I
surprised.
used to like that that album a lot.
9 Inch Nails. I never cared for them.
I used to like them.
It's not very good. If you listen to it now,
Yeah, it
definitely
doesn't hold up at all.
yeah.
I don't think.
And then the very next day that the farmer found that, he was probably, that same farmer was probably listening to Paula Abdul. Because
be.
She took over the Billboard charts with her first number one.
I don't know.
I think it's her first number one. Maybe it's not. Cold Hearted.
Cold Hearted Snake.
You're a cold
Hearted
hearted
snake.
Look into his eyes. You remember the video for this?
Mm-mm.
I watched that too because I just got done with the Trent Reznor thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Paula Abdul is dancing for these stuffy music executives, and she's got a whole team of dancers. And basically, the dancers are basically having sex with each other. There's just tons of sexual positions.
Oh, really?
Humping each other and spreading legs and putting faces and crotches and stuff.
Oh my!
And then at the end, she's like, "Oh, what'd you think?" And they're like, "Oh, it was great." And they seem all scared and covered in jizz.
You have boners.
But the video was directed by David Fincher.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who David Fincher is?
It sounds kind of familiar.
He directed Seven, Fight Club, those kind of movies.
Yeah.
I don't know. Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
Alien 3.
Okay. Yeah, I do know
No,
that.
that's David Fincher. He directed a Paula Abdul video. That's embarrassing. On his resume. Saturday, September 9th, 1989. New Kids on the Block take over with probably their most well-known song.
What is it?
Hangin' Tough.
Oh God, I was never a New Kids. I was too old for New
Thank
Kids.
goodness. That's why I love you.
Because I was 16.
I watched this video. I remember, of course, we hated the New Kids on the Block. But I watched this whole video, this whole song.
Yeah.
Honestly, this song makes me embarrassed to be a white person.
Really?
That's a lot of white guilt watching that. Like just white people trying to be
tough
and weird. I mean, the whole song is just terrible.
Do they try to act tough?
They try to act tough, but they're wearing stupid clothes.
Yeah.
Stupid, trendy 80s clothes.
And they're like 12.
They look like total douchebags. And girls are screaming, crying like they did for the Beatles.
Yeah, they
like
did.
They were like screaming, like crying,
I
like
know.
they did the Beatles. For these douchebags.
Yeah.
Total douchebags. I mean, there's no part of them that's not douchebaggy.
Right.
There's not one thing about that video that's not complete douchebaggery.
Yeah.
It is
total.
The whole thing is the worst thing ever, and they're awful, and I'm embarrassed to be a white. Like, they've shamed the entire white race.
Not hard to do.
Well, you know what? I'll go further. They shamed the entire human race.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to be a human.
Okay.
They're terrible.
How do you really feel?
Oh God, they're awful. No wonder people don't like white people because of that.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Them and Phil Collins.
No, Phil Collins is great. Saturday, September 16th, 1989, Gloria Estefan took over the Billboard charts. Don't want to lose you now. It's a ballad.
Okay.
I don't want to lose you.
I don't know.
Can you think of it?
I don't know it at all.
Do you want me to sing
No.
it? Do you want me to keep
No,
singing it?
because I can't tell.
Don't want to lose
Stop
you
it.
now.
I can't tell.
Don't want to lose. Never going to give you.
Everything turns into that.
Never gonna
It's a Rickroll.
I think that's how it went. Don't want to lose you.
I think we should start just Rickrolling people in conversations we're having with them. And just start, like...
Hey, I got some bad news, buddy.
Never gonna give you up.
Never going to lose you down.
Just start Rickrolling people in person.
Hey, I'm sorry, we had to call this special meeting, and we're going to have to let you go. We're going to have to let you go. Don't want to give you up. No, you're really fired, but don't want to let you down.
I think we should totally start doing that.
We should,
And just say, I Rickrolled you.
Live Rickrolling.
You've been
Rickrolled you, motherfucker! And then you walk away.
Live Rickrolling.
I'm going to start Rickrolling people in the neighborhood. Help, help. Put ketchup all over you like you're, I've been hurt. I've been shot. Can you help
stand
me?
out. Never going to give you
I'll call 911. Never going to give you up. Never going to let you down. That's a great idea.
Yep.
In fact, let's stop this podcast and start
Yep.
live Rickrolling people. Sunday, September 17th, 1989, after winning a record 4 consecutive Emmys for his role on Night Court, John Larroquette asked not to be considered in 1989.
Oh,
He said, "I've won enough Emmys. Stop giving them to me."
wow.
Yep.
Rare.
And I think he hosted the Emmys too that night.
Okay.
And then Saturday, September 23rd, 1989, we got another new number one song.
Yeah.
Milli Vanilli again.
Oh, something about the blame it on the rain.
No, this one's called "Girl, I'm Gonna Miss You."
Girl, I'm gonna miss you. I don't know.
Girl, I'm gonna miss you.
I think it sounds just like the other one.
It probably does. Milli Vanilli sucks.
Yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't even them singing. And then Sunday, October 1st, 1989, the AOL Welcome and You've Got Mail sounds were recorded
Okay.
in 1989 on a cassette deck.
Oh, really?
Elwood Edwards is an American voiceover actor, best known as the voice of the internet service provider AOL.
And there was a woman's voice. It was a man's
You've
voice?
got mail.
It was a man's
It was
voice?
a guy.
Oh, okay.
Welcome. You've got mail.
That was the guy.
You've got pictures. You've got voicemail. Files done. And goodbye.
Oh,
All
wow.
recorded in his living room on a cassette deck.
I never had AOL, so I don't know.
You've got mail. I remember hearing that. I mean, the movie.
Yeah, there was a movie about it.
About that guy's voice.
Yep.
And that guy murdered 25 people
I wish.
immediately after.
I wish. That would make it such a
I know
bad.
you would love that if that guy murdered people. I'm just starting everyone murder people at the end of it.
Just so I'm interested.
We should rickroll that guy.
Yeah.
Never gonna give you mail. Never gonna give
All
you
right.
mail. Sunday, October 7th, 1989.
Mm-hmm.
Another new number one song. Janet Jackson.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm rushing home to see your smiling face and your warm embrace.
Oh,
Makes me feel
I
so
miss you much.
good. Yeah, I miss you much.
And I could catch that one.
See, I'm a great singer. That's a black and white video, and all the dancers are asking her about her personal life, her new boyfriend when she walks in. And she says,
she's in her belly shirt.
no, she's wearing fully clothed,
Oh,
but
she
she's
is?
like, hold on a second, I'll tell you about how the date went. And
Mm-hmm.
then she sings the whole song and does a whole dance routine about miss you much and never gets into it. But the video choreography, there's an extended video
Mm-hmm.
for this where there's a whole big chair routine that she does with dancing with a chair. Not to be confused with the Pleasure Principle, where she does the famous chair move where she puts
Yeah.
one leg on the top of the chair, one on the bottom.
One on each, yeah.
Makes it fall down and then keeps going.
Yeah.
That's Pleasure Principle. But this one, there's a whole big chair dance routine where
Okay.
she and four other people just start dancing with chairs for like 20 minutes. And the music stops and they just do this whole chair thing.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. And she was beautiful. She had kind of like lost some of the baby fat and got kind of thinner.
Yeah.
But before she got creepy looking,
Mm-hmm.
she looked like a hot Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very similar looking
Yeah.
before all the surgery. Even when they started getting some of the surgery,
I'll
look,
admit, I started questioning my sexuality when I found her attractive. I was like, maybe I'm gay for Michael Jackson.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Then I started dating dudes.
Yep, you did.
I did. And then I met you, babe.
That's right.
You're the best dude I ever dated. And then Friday, October 13th, 1989, Look Who's Talking
Mm-hmm.
came out. You know what? Out of 10 movies, where do you think that ranked that year?
What, third?
Fourth.
Fourth?
According to Kirstie Alley's memoir, she fell in love with John Travolta during filming, but she stayed faithful to her husband.
And John Travolta was probably eyeing the
All the dudes.
yeah,
all the key grips.
All the key grips. I was just trying to think of that. The best boy.
This was his first major acting role in 5 years. This was like his comeback. The
Yeah.
beginning of his comeback.
Yeah. He's pretty much definitely gay.
Oh, yeah. On this, when I looked that up, too, I fell in another one of those
Rabbit holes
online. All these people that, like, for years, he's totally gay.
Yeah.
He's been gay the whole time. Everybody knows he's gay.
Like he's
Like, everybody in
he
Hollywood
doesn't
was
even
like, yes,
yeah.
he's gay. He doesn't even hide it. He bangs every dude everywhere.
That's right. Yeah.
And Kelly Preston is cool with it.
Yeah, she just is like
She's
whatever.
like, who cares? It's an arrangement.
Yep.
Same with Tom Cruise.
Makes you wonder about his son, how his son died.
His son had autism.
I know. But it just makes you wonder, like, I don't know.
Wasn't it a plane crash or something?
I don't remember.
Can't remember. Anyway, Tuesday, October 17th. I don't want to start accusing John Travolta of murder.
Yeah, okay. We won't.
Tuesday, October 17th, 1989, the Loma Prieta earthquake struck.
Okay.
You remember this?
No.
It struck at 5:04 p.m. And Game 3 of the World Series was scheduled to start at 5:35 p.m. at Candlestick Park in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And thousands of people were already in the stadium when the quake occurred. Because of the coincidence of timing, it was the first major earthquake in the U.S. ever to be broadcast by live television.
Oh, wow.
Experts credit the timing of the series as a lucky break that prevented a massive loss of life in the region. Key in reducing the loss of life was the fact that many people on both sides of the bay had left work early or were staying late to participate in after-work group viewings and parties, reducing the traffic that would otherwise have been on the collapsed freeways at 5:04 on a Tuesday.
Wow, so the freeways collapsed.
Initial expectations were that hundreds of people had died in the collapse of Interstate 880 in Oakland. The final death toll from that event was 42.
Oh, wow.
But it was rush hour. And if it hadn't been for the World Series,
yeah, it would have been thousands.
A Goodyear blimp that was covering the telecast was used to coordinate emergency efforts. At the time of the earthquake hit, ABC's crew was in the booth as Tim McCarver was presenting a highlights package. The earthquake hit while the video was playing and temporarily knocked the feed out. And just before it was knocked out, Al Michaels could be heard on air saying, "I'll tell you what, we're having an earth," with the feed cutting out just before he finished.
Oh.
Michaels, McCarver, and a third man in the booth, Jim Palmer, grabbed for whatever they could to brace themselves and inadvertently grabbed one another's legs, leaving all three men with thigh bruises.
How do you grab one another's legs?
Well, they fell down in a kind of in a circle jerk. And a lot of people don't know this, but as they were grabbing each other's legs, one thing led to another.
Yep, that's what I was waiting for.
And the power came back on as they were all sucking each other's dicks.
Okay.
And so they had to get their dicks out of each other's mouths.
Okay, and we're done with this. We're done with this.
And now back to the World Series. The audio was restored with Michaels taking over a screen bumper until the video was restored and saying jokingly about how the earthquake jolt was the greatest opening in the history of television, bar none.
All right.
Yep. They all sucked each other off.
Okay.
And then Saturday, October 28th, 1989, the World Series ended with the Athletics sweeping the Giants in 4 games. It was the first World Series sweep since 1976.
Okay.
Saturday, November 4th, 1989, Roxette becomes the #1 song.
Oh, I can't remember what they sang either.
Listen to Your Heart.
Oh, yes.
I don't know how that goes. Do you?
Listen to your heart. I don't know. That's all I know.
That's happy for you. Something like
Listen to your heart. Yeah.
that.
It's bad.
The dude who wrote it is one of the band members or something. He wrote it based on a friend of his who was in emotional turmoil, stuck between an old relationship and a new love. I don't know, who cares? That's stupid.
Yes.
November 11th, 1989, Roxette's overtaken by Bad English.
Oh.
You remember Bad English?
Sort of.
So I looked this up because I didn't really remember this. The song sounded kind of familiar. The video is awful.
Yeah.
When I see you smile.
I can face the world.
Yes.
Oh.
You remember that song?
I can do anything.
It's terrible. The guy's got a horrible long mullet hair.
Yeah. It's so 80s.
But the singer looked really familiar to me, so I had to look up who he was. So the lead singer of that is the same guy who sang I Ain't Missing You at All.
Oh, yeah. I can hear that.
Missing You.
I can totally
It's the
hear that.
same guy, but he's got a long hair and he's in a rock band now
Yeah.
called Bad English.
But I wouldn't call it a rock band. The people that sing When I See You Smile.
No, it doesn't sound like that. But when you look at the video, he's dressed like a rock star. Like he's got a leather jacket and long hair. He looks like Whitesnake.
But he sings that?
But he sings that.
Oh, that's funny.
It's terrible. It's awful.
That is funny.
I'm going to kill someone because of that song. No,
All right.
I'm not. You'd probably like me better if I committed a murder.
No.
Wednesday, November 22nd, 1989, the 6th highest grossing movie came out. It's a sequel.
Yeah.
It's a sequel to a movie that rhymes with Fact to the Future.
Oh, Back to the Future 2.
Yeah, Back to the Future Part 2.
That's right.
Do you remember the whole thing, the whole hubbub with Crispin Glover about this?
No.
Do you remember anything at all?
Mm-mm. Wait, no, is Back to the Future 2 the future one where they go in the future?
Yeah, they go to the future, and Biff, who's basically Donald Trump, and becomes president or whatever. A lot of people call Trump just Biff. They call him Biff from Back to the Future.
Do they?
Yeah. Crispin Glover sued the filmmakers as he had not granted permission to use his likeness in Part 2. But they dressed up a guy with heavy makeup, age makeup, to just look just like him.
Oh, really?
And so he sued because that's my likeness completely.
Yeah.
But it's settled out of court for $765,000 by Universal's insurance company because they didn't want to pay Crispin. And then the Screen Actors Guild subsequently introduced new rules about the illicit use of actors. Basically, Crispin Glover was pissed because that he was getting paid way less than a lot of the other actors.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, and then when he bitched about it, they offered him less. And
Oh, wow.
And then he said, "Fuck you, I'm not doing it." And then they used the guy that looked like him, then he sued him, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Saturday, November 25th, 1989, Milli Vanilli's back up. This time it's
Now it's Blame It on the Rain. Yeah, yeah.
So this is where the inserts for the American version of the album explicitly attributed the vocals to Rob and Fab, and this is what prompted Charles Shaw to reveal in December 1989 that he was one of the 3 actual singers of the album, and that Rob and Fab were imposters. And this is when Frank Farian, the producer, paid him $150,000 to retract his statements.
So he did?
And he did. So because of all the criticism and all the people were starting to question it, Rob and Fab insisted that they be allowed to sing on the next album. So they just make it all go away.
Yeah. But they were probably so bad.
Yeah, so then all this stuff finally came out, and then they withdrew their American Music Awards. Or no, they didn't. They withdrew their Grammys or whatever, but not their American Music Awards.
Oh, okay.
But I was thinking about that later. I was like, it's still good. I mean, if people liked it,
Yeah, but it wasn't.
do they care who sang it?
But they said they were saying they were singing it.
They were saying it was these 2 guys, but it was really these other guys. It's because they're less attractive.
Well, I think it's just the principle of trickery.
But if you still like the song,
Yeah, you
isn't it
should still
good?
like the song, but it's
You only
not
like
the
it
right
'cause
artist.
Rob and Fab sang it?
I'm not saying I didn't like it one way or the other. I'm
Yeah.
just saying people were
Who
mad
cares who
because it
sang
was
it?
a trick. Because it was
Trickery.
Trickery.
You think
It was
it's these 2
lies.
good-looking guys.
it was all
That's not-
lies
That's not a guy who's attractive.
based on lies.
Anyway, many lawsuits came up later. At least 27 different lawsuits were filed against them.
From who?
Fans.
No.
Yeah, and the big one that won was a fan in Cleveland that said she didn't know it was them. She wants her money back, and then she won. So anybody who bought that album in Cleveland could
Oh my God.
be part of that lawsuit, and they lose money. So then there's more and more lawsuits like that. But months later,
Can you imagine being a fan and suing?
suing them.
That's
'cause
so
of that.
dumb.
Rob and Fab, they parodied the scandal in a commercial for Carefree Sugarless Gum. And they began to lip sync to an opera recording.
I remember that.
You do?
Yeah.
And an announcer asked, as their lips were syncing, "How long does the taste of Carefree sugar-free gum last?" The record began to skip, and the announcer answers, "Until these guys sing for themselves."
Yep, I remember that.
You believe that? Mm-hmm. Then they moved to L.A. and they did that album, Rob and Fab. And despite fabulous positive reviews from critics, the album failed due to financial problems.
Okay.
It only sold 2,000 copies, but I watched on YouTube. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Rob later served 3 months in jail for assault, vandalism, and attempted robbery. He spent 6 months on a drug rehab charge
Jeez.
before returning to Germany, and he died of alcohol and prescription drug overdose at a hotel in Frankfurt on April 2nd, 1998.
That's it.
Rest in peace, Rob, from
Yep.
Milli Vanilli.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you and I need to just start memorializing him
Yeah.
every episode. We'll say goodnight to Chuck Berry and rest in peace,
No, we're not going to
Rob
do that.
from Milli Vanilli. And then December 9th, 1989, Billy Joel took over the number 1 charts with
In the middle of the night, I go walking in my sleep. No.
you're wrong.
Okay, what is it?
We didn't start the fire.
Oh, right.
When
the world's been turning.
Sabba dabba dee dash,
Yep.
dabba ding
All
dang,
right.
ding dang, fling dang, chamba chamba ching chang.
Okay.
It's just a listing of things.
That's right.
Billy Joel got the idea for the song when he had just turned 40. He was in a recording studio and met a friend of Sean Lennon, who had just turned 21, who said, "It's a terrible time to be 21. Joel replied to him, "Yeah, I remember when I was 21. I thought I had an awful time, and we had Vietnam, drug problems and civil rights problems, and everything seemed to be awful." And the friend replied, yeah, but it's different for you. You were a kid in the 50s, and everybody knows nothing happened in the 50s. And then Billy Joel said, "Wait a minute. Didn't you hear about the Korean War, the Suez Canal, and all that stuff?" Wednesday, December 13th, Driving Miss Daisy came out.
Yep.
So convinced was she that she would lose out on the Academy Awards that year, Jessica Tandy had a $100 bet with her agent that she wouldn't win the Oscar for Best Actress.
And she won?
When she paid up on Oscar night, she told him it was the best bet she ever lost.
Yep.
And then she went down on him.
No, stop it.
Sunday, December 17th, 1989,
Yeah,
Simpsons roasting on an open fire.
that's a good one.
This is the very first episode of
Yep.
The Simpsons.
I think they get they get their dog.
Yeah, while Christmas shopping, Bart sneaks off and gets a tattoo. March discovers it. Blah blah blah. They don't have any money. They lose all their money.
Santa's
Get
little
the
helper.
tattoo removed, and Santa's little helper shows up. Yep, that's when Simpsons started, 1989.
Yeah, that's when it was still good. It's not good anymore. I tried to watch it the other day.
It's not good.
It's
huh?
just not.
Well, some things just end.
Jump the shark.
They need to end.
Yeah, it needs to end.
And to ruin your good feelings about The Simpsons, on December 23rd, 1989, Phil Collins is back.
Oh, God damn it.
Phil Collins has
Fucking Phil Collins.
another number one song.
Oh.
This is a song about homeless people. This is a millionaire singing about homeless people and how you should take time and give homeless people money.
What is it?
Another Day in Paradise.
Oh, I remember that.
It's another day for you and me
In
paradise. And the whole video is about people walking past homeless people, ignoring them. And this actually got people up in arms. Like, fuck you, Phil Collins. You make way more money than most people.
Yeah, right.
You give homeless people some money. You dick.
People got mad about him.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Time for toys.
Phil Collins is all I got.
Time for toys.
So we're going to end. We cannot end a whole season
Wait, I got toys.
on Phil Collins. So please tell me you have something other than just Phil Collins, Another Day in Paradise.
I got toys.
You love
toys,
Phil Collins. You don't want to end on Phil Collins?
No.
With a great taste in your mouth of Phil Collins?
No. Okay.
It's another
The first toy
day.
is the Babysitter's Club book set. That was
The Babysitters Club. That's still a thing, right? Kids
maybe.
Still, there's like a new version where they have tablets and they twerk.
Probably.
They twerk.
They twerk.
Yeah.
Another one is the bubble mower, and that was a lawn mower that bubbles would come out of
That
it.
didn't come out till 1989?
That's what it said.
Huh, I want one of those.
Yep.
You use it for... you could turn that
bubbly
into
grass clippings is what you'll get when you use this mower.
That'd be a cool thing to turn into a bong. Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Sweet.
There was a double dare game. Answer questions or take the physical challenges just like the Nickelodeon television game show.
That's supposedly coming back.
Double Dare?
They're bringing Double Dare back, yeah.
Oh, really? There was a Florence Griffith Joyner doll.
Oh.
She was a fashion doll.
She
Her
was
fashion
the
will be hard to catch.
She's the fastest woman, right? With those big long fingernails?
Yeah, that's right. Fashion, fitness, and fantasy. That's this Olympic star. Comb her hair and dress her up in her complete line of Flojo fashions.
Flojo. That's right, Flojo.
Including nail decals to decorate little girls' nails just like Flojo's, and a brush and a tote bag for the doll.
Flojo was fast.
Yep, she was fast. There was a McDonald's uniform.
Oh, he could just...
Yeah,
that's
wear
it?
the uniform of a real McDonald's employee. Dress up a set of cloth and plastic, includes apron and Velcro straps, cap, microphone, wipe-off name tag, spatula, and tongs.
Grow up to be a fucking loser.
I know, right?
Oh,
Let's just
no, I love
keep it realistic.
I love McDonald's employees. They're not losers. Come on.
And then the next one is...
I would bang everybody.
This
who
one
works at
kind of goes
McDonald's.
with it. This is a Play-Doh. It came out with a Whopper kit. And it was a... you could
Everything
make
was fast
Burger
food
King
related.
Whoppers. Yep, with pickles and relish and onions and
You
stuff.
think like the toy companies were sitting around, how can we capitalize on this fast food market?
That's
Fast food's
right.
big right now.
That's right.
Okay, you dress like a McDonald's person and we'll have Play-Doh Whoppers.
That's right. What about the Sega Genesis? That came out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't have one, but
No.
I remember it. Maybe I did. I
No.
don't think I did. I don't know.
And the last thing is the Ghostbusters set. Choose from the Ecto Goggles and Ecto Popper, Neutrona Blaster, and Ghost Trap. Or get the Proton Pack, which includes the backpack with straps, Ghost Blaster with soft foam wand, power cord, PKE meter with rotating antenna, Ghostbuster armband, label sheet, and Ghostbuster ID.
Grab the proton packs off the back and they split. Find out about Vigo, the master of evil. Try to battle my boys. That's not illegal.
All right.
Sorry, that's Bobby Brown. I think I've had a little bit too much Boonshine.
Okay.
This is a Tropic Pale Ale from Boone, North Carolina.
Is it good? So that was the toys, and that was 1989.
And now we have a correction and apology.
Okay.
Okay, I have a couple of corrections and apologies from last episode. First of all, Brian McCartney, thank you. He's very good at pointing out our mistakes. And this isn't one I didn't definitely say this, but I kind of... Remember I mentioned oral Hershiser? Oral and anal Hershiser?
Yes.
And I felt like I said, I feel like he played for the Tigers or something.
Oh,
I knew he had a local connection to
Yeah.
Northwest Ohio area. And Ryan reminded me, I totally forgot this. He is a Bowling Green Falcon.
Oh.
He went to BGSU. He's like the most famous BGSU guy, maybe besides Tim Conway and Eva Marie Saint.
Okay.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yep.
He was a BGSU Falcon. I can't believe I forgot that.
Okay.
Oral anal Hershiser, BGSU Falcons. Also, I am very disappointed in myself for this next one. We talked about Just the 10 of Us, which is one of the greatest sitcoms of all time. And the lead actor was one of the greatest actors in American history, Bill Kirchenbauer.
Okay. That's
And I know it's Bill Kirchenbauer. Bill Kirchenbauer is a funny comedian. I loved him. I've loved Bill Kirchenbauer. I'm a big Bill Kirchenbauer fan. Anybody who knows me knows.
all right, but that's
I'm
enough.
a Bill Kirchenbauer fan.
We get the point.
But in last episode,
You forgot his name.
I called him Dan
Kirkendall.
Kirkendall.
Yep.
And I don't know why.
Well, that's
why I
fine.
would have, and I said it so definitive. Oh, it was Dan Kirkendall. Like, that's Bill Kirchenbauer.
All right. That's all you need to do.
Right. I know it's all I need to do, but I don't understand why I would have just made up a different name.
Because you're nuts.
That was it for 1980. We have nothing else?
Nothing else for the 80s. That was the 80s.
That was the 80s, and that was our whole season.
That's right.
Season 2 is done. We've done 20 some odd episodes, 26, 27, 35,
Something like that.
whatever it is. We're now a podcast. We're going to be coming at you soon with season 3, the 70s.
Can't wait. It's going to be so good.
And so you guys will have to be patient, because if there's any corrections and apologies from this episode, which I'm sure there are.
Yes.
Amy was just fucking flying by the seat of her pants. I probably said some things wrong because I've been drinking. But we'll be back next season for season 3.
Woo.
The 70s. The 70s.
Crazy second.
It's going to be psychedelic. It's going to be a lot of drugs, a lot of disco, a lot of bell bottoms.
Good music in the 70s.
Heroin, right? It was heroin the big thing. Is that right?
I don't know.
A lot of
It was
weed, a lot of
pot.
free love. No,
A lot
that
of
was
pot.
60s. A lot of pot, a lot of like orange kitchens.
Orange and
Orange
brown.
and brown. Everything was
Orange and brown and avocado and gold.
Like huge collars and welcome back Kata.
No, it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. So hopefully we'll see you back here. Same place. You don't have to do anything different. You
Nope.
should stay subscribed. Still give us 18 stars. Still make up fake.
Still rate us, review us, tell your friends.
Yeah, rate us and review us. Keep telling your friends. Bug your friends. Like, shake them until you see them give us 5 stars on iTunes.
Or at least listen.
Or listen.
Yeah.
We love you, and
And it's time to get out of here, Blackberry.
yeah, let's say goodbye to season 2, y'all. Season 2 was fun.
All right, take it away, Matt Brewer.
Standing on